Report. And today we are going to be talking about the Alberto Del Rio situation. Plus, we're going to be talking about Shelton Benjamin pretty much destroying Hulk Hogan as far as, you know, Hulk Hogan talking about Shelton Benjamin and pretty much saying his name backwards and whatnot. But the crazy thing is, let's talk about the Alberto Del Rio situation. Now, the Alberto Del Rio situation, according to WrestleZone, they said the future of Alberto Del Rio and WWE remains a hot topic of discussion. And the reason it's a hot topic of discussion is because Alberto Del Rio has a history, a bad history, is a negative history. But let's talk about what WrestleZone was saying. It says conflicting reports have emerged about Alberto Del Rio's contract status as relates to WWE acquisition of AAA wrestling. And the Wrestling Observer Dave Meltzer have indicated that Del Rio, the current AAA Mega Champion, has already inked a new contract with WWE. Meanwhile, Corey Hayes of BodySlap.net reported that Del Rio remains signed to a AAA deal, with his future not set in stone onto the finalization of WWE and AAA sale expected to take place at the end of the third quarter financial period. Despite contrasting contracts report, both Hayes and Meltzer report that Del Rio and most of the AAA talent are not expected to be on WWE television, but rather in Mexico under the AAA banner following the purchase completion. Supposedly, they said this signing are for the Mexican market, and it's not like Alberto's going to show up on Raw or SmackDown. Vikingo may or at least on NXT. I would expect Meltzer saying Wrestling Observer Radio. So now here, this is the crazy part. What is the point of you signing? I mean, they're saying that he signed with WWE, but again, WWE bought AAA, so basically he's already under contract with WWE unless he doesn't sign or whatever. But he is the AAA Mega Champion. So the question here is he going to be signed with AAA Mega Champion, and whatnot? Um, I mean, it is retarded. It's really ridiculous because at the end of the day, um, if WWE decides to sign this guy and bring him in to show up maybe to a Raw show or to an NXT show, let's keep it in mind that this man has a history of abusing women. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, well, that's not true, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Now, Soraya, who used to be Paige in WWE back then, Soraya dated Alberto Del Rio and whatnot. And pretty much, the stories behind that, they claimed they was abusive. There was a lot of stuff going on between them two. There was reports that at one point, Alberto Del Rio attacked Paige at an Orlando airport. So, hey Enzo, how you doing? So there's a lot of speculation when it comes to stuff like that. Plus, let's not forget that there was a situation between Alberto Del Rio and Stephanie Vaquer, the NXT Women's Champion, where Stephanie Vaquer had to get an order protection against Alberto Del Rio in 2016 over another Mexican wrestler, and I think Alberto Del Rio was involved in that. Now, the crazy part about all this is the fact that AAA got bought by WWE, and if they bring in Alberto Del Rio, this is going to show you what WWE is all about. They do not care about their talent. Because first of all, if Soraya is thinking of coming in to WWE after she left AEW, this is not going to make her come in. Because she's going to look at it as like, wait a minute, I'm not coming in because Alberto Del Rio might be coming back into a Raw or whatever. According to Meltzer, so they don't see him coming up to Raw or SmackDown. He's going to stay in the Mexican market. And if that is the case, then we pretty much are going to see that we may not see Alberto Del Rio, and whatnot. Again, Enzo, I say hi. How you doing? But anyway, so the point here is that this is a problem because it looks like wrestling promotions nowadays, they don't care about the talent's feelings or nothing. It's all about making money. Now, It's funny because I saw this past Saturday at AEW Collision. I think it was Saturday. We saw AEW Collision. We saw, uh, um, what's his name? Oh my God, Sammy Guevara and Collision. Now we don't know if Mercedes Moné was in the same building. We know the history of that. So we don't know, but it seems like these companies don't care. WWE, of course, they're known not to give a rat's ass about nothing. They're all about making money. That's all they're all about, making money. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, well, why are you making a big thing out of this, about the Alberto Del Rio, whatever happened in the past is the past. That's not the point. It's been a problem in wrestling when it comes to this. We not forget the whole, the me movement and how many wrestlers had, were taken out of that whole me movement where they pretty much, you know, the wrestlers were David Starr, who wrestled back in the days, and now he's no longer in wrestling because of all that. So is, I believe, oh my God, Davey Richards, another guy who was accused of allegedly abusing his wife and domestic violence. He don't wrestle no more. So this whole thing with Alberto Del Rio, that with a possibility that he may come into a WWE, with the reports that they're saying, I don't know who to believe, because Dave Meltzer says that he got signed. We can't really go by what Dave Meltzer said. Now the man Hayes from Body Slap Net says no, he's not signed yet, but the possibility that if he does sign, he's going to stay in the Mexican market. That is something for everybody to think about and see what happens afterwards and whatnot. So right now, with the fact that they're saying that the deal, the deal between WWE and AAA, the Barnes deal, all that, it's not going to be signed after the third quarter, ending of the third quarter. We'll see what happens and whatnot with that. So that's something for everybody to think about and see. Let me know what you guys think and whatnot. And if you're online right now, and you give me a thumbs up for the channel, I would gladly appreciate it and whatnot. But again, this is the situation going on when it comes to this whole Triple Eight, crazy. Let me see. Where's the view message? Okay, let me hide this because people are fucking assholes here. They're getting my chat to make stupid fucking remarks, and whatnot. But anyway, so let me know what you think about that. Let's talk about something else that was in the news this week, and that is Shelton Benjamin from the Hurt Business and from the Hurt Syndicate, and Hulk Hogan. Again, Hulk Hogan on the news again. This man don't know when to stop lying. When, hey John, how you doing? We don't know when this man don't stop lying. He stopped talking crap. He's constantly on the news for the most negative shit that you can imagine. Last week I made a video about him trying to create this new wrestling promotion along with Eric Bischoff called Reality Freestyle Wrestling, whatever, or Real American Freestyle Wrestling, whatever it's called. That's going to be, it's going to be dead in the water to begin with anyway. But now all of a sudden Hogan went into a podcast and pretty much decided to mention Shelton Benjamin and then say his name backwards, Benjamin Shelton. Now, Hogan is already, everybody knows he is a bigot. And I don't care what anybody says, this man, every time you turn around, he's saying the wrong thing. I mean, the fact that I saw Sean Ross Sapp this week and I saw his video and he brought up, I didn't even know that Hogan said that when his son almost got killed in a car accident, or he killed somebody in a car accident, he said, well, I hope that we don't get reincarnated being black. The man says the most stupidest shit that you can imagine. Now, he lied talking about that he wrestled Brock Lesnar when he came back, when Brock Lesnar didn't return to WWE until 2012. So I don't know what he's talking about. He's constantly lying. So he was in a podcast. He was in a podcast where he went and mentioned Shelton Benjamin, but instead of saying Shelton Benjamin, he said Benjamin Shelton. So, by the way, John, freestyle wrestling is more like NCAA type of wrestling. So it's more like, amateur wrestling type thing. So that's what the freestyle wrestling is all about. So that's what he's trying to do. But again, this is all about if you think about it, when they did the whole, the whole thing about the freestyle wrestling, what channel he went to? He went to Fox News to talk about this whole thing. And you could tell that these guys are just doing it to trying to get some type of clout. They brought in some kind of Izzy Martinez. It's supposedly this Izzy Martinez, you know, uh, you know, that he used to train all these NCAA guys, you know, but it's ridiculous. But let me read you. I don't think the Hulk would know anything about that exactly, but it's all about making money. That's the way they're looking at it. And Bischoff, think about it. The way I looked at it was AEW passed WCW for the longest running show in TBS and TNT, whatever you want to call it, right? And Bischoff congratulated. All of a sudden, 2 weeks later, we seen this, him and Hogan teaming up and whatnot. But here's something that Shelton Benjamin told Hulk Hogan and whatnot. And his Fightful Select posted this. It says, Shelton Benjamin, message to Hulk Hogan. You lost me forever with your don't get caught apology speech and whatnot. So Shelton Benjamin has no time for Hulk Hogan, and put it this way. And while promoting his new Real American Freestyle Wrestling event, Hulk Hogan discussed amateur wrestlers making the transition to pro wrestling. This is what it is. It's amateur wrestlers trying to make it to pro wrestlers. Right? While speaking in TMZ, of course TMZ, Benjamin Shelton, he said his name wrong. So it wasn't TMZ that he was. All these different guys that I've had the opportunity to see adapt to our business. And I said, something's there with these amateur guys. So Hogan will be referring to Shelton Benjamin, not Benjamin Shelton. So Shelton issued the following response. He said, you lost me forever with your don't get caught, or as you will call it, an apology speech. So rather than screw up my name and pretend we ever had any sort of camaraderies, which we never had, please do me a favor and keep my name out of your fucking mouth. He posted a Will Smith situation and whatnot. So that goes to show you that Hogan right now is continuing to try to make a name for himself, and he's still trying to get into the good graces with I won't consider Shelton Benjamin a young generation, but he's way younger than Hogan. But the fact that you're trying to be in good graces with these wrestlers, and right now they're wrestling right now. So MVP also got into this whole thing, and MVP and Hogan said a pathological lying piece of human excellence. So here's what Mr. MVP said. He said Hulk Hogan has been known to lie once, twice, a couple of dozen, maybe up to surpassing 100 times. I believe he even went as far as he said that Andre the Giant was 700 pounds when he body slammed him at WrestleMania 3. Well, that's not true. And then he said MVP has heard enough and whatnot. He called him a pathological lying piece of human excrement. And it wasn't excellent. I saw that wrong. He said Benjamin responded to Hogan mentioning his name, telling Hogan to keep his name out of his mouth. Benjamin and MVP, of course, they're part of the Hurt Syndicate alongside Bobby Lashley. They hurt people. So you know the whole thing. But Hogan's been known to make, to make lies. That's all he does. He's been lying for the last couple of years, and he's not making. The fact that he got booed the beginning of the year when how you call it, when the Netflix premiere happened, he was trying to showcase his drinking beer, real American beer, or whatever it was. But the bottom line is that Hogan is doing all this for clout. The bottom line is that he made a dumbass out of himself by calling Shelton Benjamin his name backwards and whatnot. So, what can you say? John said Hogan is trying to extend his 15 minutes of fame a couple of decades. Yeah, this is about clout. Let me tell you that. But and the fact that he went and supposedly WWE told Hogan, and this is how it happened supposedly. So this is what I'm hearing and what I have read, that the reason that all this happened was because of this whole thing in 2019 when Ring of Honor and New Japan wanted to come into Madison Square Garden and do this show, which is the Supercard show, which I went, and WWE tried to block them. New Japan went and threw their lawyers on the side, whatever, and WWE couldn't do anything but let Ring of Honor and New Japan go and do the Madison Square Garden thing. Because remember, in 2015, which is I also went, was the time when they went and hang Hogan's shirt on the rafters in Madison Square Garden. Then all of a sudden the whole, N-word thing came out and they took that down. And then when they went, WWE saw that Ring of Honor and New Japan went in their territory and they were doing a big show, which it was a great show. It was a full house in Madison Square Garden. They called Hogan back. And they told Hogan, can you please come back and you apologize to the locker room? And pretty much it was a fake apology. He really didn't want to apologize. So they just WWE forced him to do it. So at this point, you know what I'm saying, Hogan's going to do anything right now to be in the good graces of course, with WWE. But nobody wants him. The WWE Universe has spoken. They spoke in January. They don't want him there. That's why they were going to try to bring him back at Saturday Night Live. Probably, a couple of weeks after that, and they did a turnaround and said, nope, this is not going to work. It wasn't going to work, because he was going to get booed out of the building like they did in Los Angeles. And people were saying, oh, no, because, he was with Trump, and he was, L.A. is a liberal state. No, that has nothing to do with that. Hogan is a piece of crap, especially with all the stuff that he did. And, I mean, and he went, and, he made money. He made $110 million by taking Gooker, or whatever the name was, the dirt sheet, whatever, and took him out of business. And now he's still trying to make a name himself. He's still trying to come up with this, real American freestyle wrestling. Nobody's going to give it. This is going to be dead on the water. This is going to be exactly like what EC3 did a couple of years ago, when they tried to do another federation to compete with AEW, was control your narrative. Remember that? It went out there. Braun Strowman, who had just got released this past week, was part of that. And he went and he talked crap about AEW, that they were going to be bigger than AEW, and that was dead in the water. Control your narrative. They did their first pay-per-view and it flopped. What's up, Nevo? Bischoff, what's up, Mikey? Bischoff likes to attack AEW. Let's see how good he's gonna run things with Hogan. Listen, at the end of the day, that's gonna be dead in the water. I don't even think their first show is supposed to be in August, and I'm telling you right now, no one's gonna care about watching amateur wrestling. No one. Who's into amateur wrestling? They're doing all this just for clout. Okay, they're trying to put it like I said, amateur wrestlers, so they could turn into pro wrestlers. But how many amateur wrestlers want to be a pro wrestler? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of them, because also I believe AZ Martinez is part of UFC stuff, but maybe UFC may grab a bunch of those guys and put them in the UFC thing. But I don't see them becoming professional. Not every wrestler in pro wrestling right now has a background of amateur wrestling. Not everybody. It's not a lot. I think the last one that I remember that has some amateur wrestling was Kurt Angle. I might be wrong. Maybe other people, and Chad Gable right now. Chad Gable is right now the one I could come up with that is an amateur wrestler, have amateur wrestler background. You know what I'm saying? But again, Monticello said, why do you think they decide for Bray Wyatt not to die in the ring like Owen? What? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, Monticello. Honestly. I don't know. What the hell are you talking about Bray Wyatt? We're not talking about Bray Wyatt, So, but anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this whole thing. First one with Alberto Del Rio. Is he going to show up at a WWE Raw or SmackDown? If they're saying no, that's not going to happen. Shelton Benjamin and Brock did the amateurs. Yeah, Brock was Brock, Shelton. Matter of fact, you're right, Shelton's an amateur background. But right now, there's not a lot of guys doing the amateur thing, see? So, I think they're going to probably bring that guy who the WWE signed, I thought they were going to make him the new, the next Kurt Angle, and I think it was the guy last name, Stevenson, Gabe Stevenson. They're probably going to bring him in, that's for sure. But we'll see. But guys, let me know what you think about this whole Alberto Del Rio thing. Do you think that he's still gonna sign with WWE, or he signed with WWE, but he's gonna stay in the Mexico scene and whatnot, or he's gonna show up at the Raw or SmackDown or NXT. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're gonna do a Worlds Collide type of situation with AAA against NXT. So, also tell me what you think about the Shelton Benjamin destroying Hulk Hogan. Pretty much, it's Hogan should just go away and never show up, because Hogan right now, in reality, he just the man. I gotta give him credit. He was responsible for 2 eras of wrestling, but he has gone down the fucking toilet with all his stupidity and all the dumb stuff that he said, and now his career is almost it's over. I mean, everywhere he goes, no one cares. He doesn't go to NBC or ABC or ESPN to talk about it. He goes to Fox Network because he knows that network, you know, they deal with that nonsense, with that mentality, you know. What's up, Keith? Been a while, buddy. Yeah, he needs to leave for good. He needs to disappear, to be honest, and whatnot, because he's gonna continue to piss people off. Let's be honest. He's gonna piss people off, and you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what to say anymore about Hogan. I mean, I don't care. I'm not gonna bother to watch. I'm not covering no real American freestyle wrestling. Are you kidding me? Shoot, I might get banned from YouTube. Or people may leave my channel. Well, I ain't covering that shit. But anyway, again, guys, let me know what you think. Leave me your comments, your thoughts, all that stuff about this situation. Also, check out, if you want to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, DX, also known as Twitter. Also, check out my podcast store, tcwr.veryinkpresent.com. That's tcwr.veryinkpresent.com. And check out the hats, the shirts, and the hoodies. Alberto Del Rio might goes to the main roster. Now, I don't think so, because again, Keeper, you just came in late. Alberto Del Rio right now, I don't think he could be anywhere near. First, Stephanie Vaquer had a situation with him in 2016, but there's an order protector. Plus, Soraya's out there. She may want to come back to WWE, and she may not come because Alberto Del Rio is around. So, you know, everybody's going crazy talking about they might put their, Sheamus, Ray Barrett, Rusev, and the Rio together as the team. I forgot what was the name back in the day together, but I don't see that happening because of the situation of the 2016 order protection that Stephanie Vaquer had on him. So I don't see that happening nowhere in the world. So now again, let me know what you think. Again, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel. And hit that thumbs up. It will help the channel very well. Until then, guys, I'll see you guys over the weekend.